What if the very person who laughed at your pain is now facing a humiliation they never saw coming? Imagine the shock, the confusion, the humbling moment when they realize the tables have turned. You see, there's a powerful truth that most people overlook. God has a way of humbling those who once took pleasure in humiliating others. It's not revenge, it's divine justice. A justice that is beyond human control or influence. A justice that operates in silence, but speaks volumes when it manifests. This isn't just about karma or the idea of getting what you deserve. It's about a deeper spiritual law that governs the way the world works. When someone tries to break your spirit, shatter your confidence, and strip you of your dignity, they're not just attacking you, they're challenging God's creation. And God doesn't take that lightly. He watches in silence, allowing them to believe they've won, allowing them to feel victorious in their cruelty. But just when they least expect it, the humbling begins. They thought they were powerful. They thought they were untouchable. But God has a way of showing them that no one is above His law. The one who laughed at your tears will soon cry tears of their own. The one who mocked your pain will soon face a pain they never imagined. Not because you wished it upon them, but because the universe reflects back the energy we put out. This is the reversal of humiliation. This is divine justice. And this is why you should never seek revenge, because God is already working on your behalf. Do you feel that? That's the power of knowing you don't have to fight this battle alone. God saw everything. He heard every word they spoke behind your back. He felt every wound they inflicted on your heart. And now He's turning the pain they caused you into a lesson they need to learn. They humiliated you publicly, but their fall will be public too. They laughed while you cried, but soon the roles will be reversed. Not because you wished for their downfall, but because God doesn't allow His chosen ones to be mocked forever. The pain you felt wasn't in vain. It was preparing you for elevation. But as you rise, they will fall. It's the balance of the universe, the divine justice that can't be escaped. They thought they were in control, but God is about to show them who truly holds the power. This is the moment they realize that the one they tried to break was actually protected by a force far greater than anything they could comprehend. This is the moment they face the consequences of their actions. This is the moment God humbles the one who enjoyed humiliating you. If you let bitterness consume you, you risk blocking your blessings. Holding on to anger and resentment isn't just harmful, it's dangerous. It poisons your spirit, clouds your vision, and keeps you trapped in a cycle of pain. You see, when someone humiliates you, the enemy's ultimate goal isn't just to hurt you. It's to make you bitter, to make you angry, and to make you lose faith. Because as long as you're focused on revenge, you can't receive what God has in store for you. Think about it. If you're constantly replaying the hurt, constantly plotting how to get even, you're giving them power over your mind and heart. You're letting their actions control your emotions, your peace, and your destiny. But that's exactly what the enemy wants, to keep you distracted, to keep you bitter, and to keep you from seeing the bigger picture. The moment you decide to fight back, to retaliate, you've already lost. Not because you're weak, but because you've stepped out of God's protection and tried to handle it on your own. But here's the truth. Revenge is a trap. It promises satisfaction but leaves you empty. It promises closure but keeps the wound open. You weren't designed to carry that burden. You were chosen to rise above it. And the only way to do that is to let God fight this battle for you. Because when God steps in, He doesn't just restore what was taken from you, He multiplies it. But that can't happen if you're still holding on to anger and bitterness. You see, the enemy wants you to believe that forgiveness means letting them off the hook. But forgiveness isn't about them. It's about freeing yourself. It's about reclaiming your peace and breaking the chains that are holding you back. When you choose forgiveness, you're not saying that what they did was okay. You're saying that you refuse to let it control you any longer. You're saying that your future is more important than your past, but if you don't let go, if you continue to hold on to that pain, you risk missing out on the blessings that are waiting for you. God has so much more in store for you, but He can't pour new blessings into a heart that's still full of anger. He can't elevate you if you're still focused on revenge. and He can't bring new opportunities into your life if you're still holding on to old wounds. This is the test to see if you're ready to be elevated, to be blessed beyond measure. But to pass this test, you have to let go. You have to trust that God's justice is greater than any revenge you could plan. You have to believe that He saw every tear, heard every cry, and felt every ounce of pain. And you have to trust that He's already working on your behalf. But if you don't, if you let bitterness consume you, you risk blocking your own blessings. The choice is yours. You can stay trapped in anger, bitterness, and revenge, or you can choose freedom, peace, and victory. But you can't have both. If you want to see God's justice, if you want to see your enemies humbled, then you must first humble yourself and let go. It's not easy, but it's necessary, because holding on to that pain is only hurting you, not them. They've moved on, they're living their life, but you're still stuck, still hurting, still replaying the pain, and the only way to break free is to let God fight this battle for you. Humiliation cuts deep. It's not just about the words they said or the way they laughed. It's about the way it made you feel, small, worthless, and broken. It's the silent pain you carried, the sleepless nights replaying every word, every action, every moment of embarrassment. It's the feeling of losing your dignity, of having your self-worth shattered by someone who thought it was funny to watch you fall. And the worst part? They didn't just humiliate you, they enjoyed it. They took pleasure in your pain, and that's what hurt the most. They made you question yourself. They made you doubt your worth, your abilities, your purpose. They made you feel like you were nothing, like you didn't matter. But that was the enemy's plan all along, to break your spirit, to make you give up on your dreams, to make you believe that you were less than what God created you to be. And for a while, it worked. You started to believe their lies. You started to see yourself through their eyes, and you began to shrink, to hide, to dim your light just to avoid more pain. But God saw it all. He saw the way they treated you, the way they laughed behind your back, the way they spread lies and rumors just to watch you suffer. He heard every cruel word, felt every wound they inflicted, and counted every tear that fell from your eyes, and He didn't forget. He didn't ignore it. He was silent, but He was watching. Because sometimes God allows the humiliation to happen, not to break you, but to break the pride of those who think they're above His justice. The pain was real, but so is the purpose behind it. You weren't humiliated because you were weak. You were humiliated because you were chosen. God's justice operates in ways we can't always understand. It moves silently, like the wind, unseen but powerful. It doesn't operate on our timeline, or according to our expectations, but it always arrives at the perfect moment. When you were humiliated, when they mocked you and laughed at your pain, it seemed like God was silent. It felt like He wasn't watching, like He didn't care. But that couldn't be further from the truth. God's silence isn't indifference, it's preparation. You see, God is strategic. He allows certain things to happen not to punish you, but to position you. He allows the hurt, the betrayal, and the humiliation because He knows it's setting the stage for your elevation. But more than that, He's allowing those who mocked you to dig their own pit. They think they're getting away with it. They think their words were forgotten, their actions unnoticed. But God is patient. He lets them believe they're winning, that they've triumphed over you. He allows them to feel secure in their pride and arrogance, but just when they feel untouchable, His justice arrives. God's justice isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with lightning and thunder. Sometimes it's quiet and subtle, like a seed that slowly grows until it bears fruit. But when it does manifest, it's undeniable. They humiliated you publicly, so their humiliation will be public too. They laughed while you cried, so they will weep while you rejoice. It's not revenge, it's balance. It's the divine order of the universe that says what you put out into the world eventually comes back to you. And they're about to learn that the hard way. But here's the thing about God's justice. It doesn't require your involvement. You don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to plot or plan or scheme. God doesn't need your help to humble them. He's already working on your behalf, even if you can't see it. Your job is to trust Him, to keep your heart pure, and to let go of the anger and bitterness. Because the moment you take matters into your own hands, you step out of God's protection and into the enemy's trap. God's justice is perfect because it not only humbles the one who hurt you, but it also heals you in the process. It restores your dignity, repairs your heart, and lifts you up where you belong. It doesn't just punish, it teaches. It shows them the consequences of their actions while showing you the power of grace and forgiveness. That's why you can't interfere. God knows the lesson they need to learn and the blessing you're about to receive. But you have to trust His process. You have to trust that His timing is perfect, even if it seems slow. They thought they could hurt you without consequence. They thought their words would break you, their actions would destroy you. But they underestimated who they were dealing with. They weren't just humiliating you, they were challenging God's purpose for your life. And now they have to face the consequences. God's justice is on its way, and when it arrives, no one will be able to stop it. They tried to bury you, but they didn't realize you were a seed, and God is about to make you blossom right in front of their eyes. There's a divine principle that says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. This is the great reversal, the moment when God turns the tables in your favor. They humiliated you, laughed at you, made you feel like nothing. But what they didn't realize was that they were setting themselves up for the same fate. The humiliation they gave is coming back to them, but in a way they never expected. God has a way of turning humiliation into honor, shame into glory, pain into purpose. When they mocked you, they were actually positioning you for elevation. They thought they were breaking you, but they were building you. They thought they were embarrassing you, but they were setting the stage for your triumph. Just like Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit, humiliated and forgotten. God used all of that to raise him to the highest position in the land. And the same God who elevated Joseph is about to elevate you. But here's the twist. The ones who humiliated you will have to watch your rise. Just like Joseph's brothers, they will see you standing in a position of honor, power, and respect. They will have no choice but to acknowledge the greatness that God placed within you. And that's when the real humiliation begins. Not because you want them to suffer, but because they will realize the mistake they made in trying to destroy you. They will see that the very thing they tried to use against you became the thing God used to lift you up. This isn't about revenge or gloating. It's about divine justice and the reversal of humiliation. It's about God showing them that no weapon formed against you can prosper. They meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. They tried to break you, but God used it to make you stronger. They tried to silence you, but God gave you a voice that's louder than ever. That's the power of divine reversal. And when this happens, remember this. You don't need to say a word. Let your success speak for itself. Let your elevation be the evidence of God's hand on your life. Let your victory be your vindication. Don't try to explain yourself or justify your rise. God's favor on your life will be undeniable. It will be so obvious that even your enemies will have to admit that it was God who did it. They will see the glory of God reflected in your life, and they will realize that they were never fighting you. They were fighting God's purpose for you. This is the divine reversal. The one who humiliated you will be humbled. The one who laughed at your pain will be silenced. And the one who tried to block your blessing will have to watch you walk into it. Not because you sought revenge, but because God is a God of justice. They thought they were powerful, but they're about to see what real power looks like. They thought they were in control, but they're about to learn who's really in charge. So don't worry about how it will happen. Don't stress about when it will happen. Just know that it's already happening. God is working behind the scenes, rearranging the pieces and setting the stage for your victory. He's preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies. And when you walk into that blessing, when you rise to that position, they will be left speechless. That's the power of the reversal of humiliation. That's the power of God's justice. Why does God allow those who humiliate others to face humiliation themselves? It's not about revenge. It's about teaching a lesson they refuse to learn. It's about humbling the proud and breaking the spirit of arrogance. You see, when they humiliated you, it wasn't just about you. It was about their own pride, their own insecurity, and their need to feel powerful. They laughed at your pain because they thought it made them bigger, stronger, more important. But God saw through their pride, and He knew exactly how to humble them. God humbles the proud because He loves them too. He knows that pride comes before a fall, and He doesn't want them to destroy themselves. He allows them to feel powerful for a moment, but then He brings them down to show them that true power doesn't come from humiliating others. It comes from humility, from love, from compassion. They have to face the same humiliation they inflicted, because it's the only way they'll learn the value of kindness and respect. Their humiliation isn't about punishing them. It's about transforming them. It's about breaking their pride so they can finally see the truth. And it's about showing you that God doesn't forget the tears of the innocent. You were humiliated, but your dignity is about to be restored. And in the process, they will learn that no one is above God's justice. You were chosen not to be broken, but to be strengthened. You were singled out not to be humiliated, but to be elevated. The pain you went through wasn't a sign of your weakness. It was a sign of your calling. Not everyone faces the kind of humiliation you faced, and that's because not everyone carries the same purpose you carry. You're different. You're set apart. And that's why the enemy tried so hard to bring you down. The truth is, the humiliation you faced wasn't about you. It was about the threat you posed to darkness. It was about the potential inside you, the light you carry, the greatness you were destined for. The enemy saw it before you did, and that's why he used people to try to break you. They thought they were just making fun of you. They didn't realize they were being used to try to dim your light. But even in the darkness, your light couldn't be hidden. Even in the pain, your purpose was preserved. You were chosen to carry a message, to live a testimony, to be an example of God's power to transform pain into purpose. You were chosen to inspire others who are walking through the same fire, to show them that they can rise again, that they can overcome. That's why you had to go through the humiliation, because your story is meant to be someone else's survival guide. Your victory will be someone else's hope. But with this calling comes responsibility. You can't respond to humiliation the way the world expects you to. You can't seek revenge or let bitterness take root in your heart. You have to rise above it, not just for your own sake, but for the sake of those who are watching you. You have to show them what grace looks like, what strength looks like, what forgiveness looks like. You have to show them what it means to be chosen. The world is full of people who retaliate, who fight back, who seek revenge. But the chosen ones are different. They don't fight battles with their hands, they fight them with their faith. They don't seek revenge, they seek restoration. They don't let humiliation define them, they let it refine them. That's who you are. You were chosen to rise above, to overcome, to inspire. And that's why the enemy tried so hard to humiliate you. He knew that if you ever realized who you truly are, nothing could stop you. But it's too late now. You've been through the fire and you're still standing. You've been humiliated, but you weren't destroyed. You were broken, but you weren't defeated. And now that you know who you are, nothing can hold you back. You're stepping into your purpose. You're walking into your destiny. You're rising above the humiliation, not in spite of it, but because of it. Because you're chosen. Now that you understand who you are, the question is, how do you respond to their humiliation? How do you react when the tables turn, when the ones who laughed at you are now facing their own fall? The answer is simple, but not easy. You respond with grace. You respond with compassion. You respond with forgiveness. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It's tempting to laugh at their downfall, to feel satisfied watching them go through what they put you through. But that's not who you are. You're better than that. You're chosen, and chosen people don't celebrate the pain of others, no matter how much they deserve it. You don't have to be their friend. You don't have to trust them again. But you do have to let go of the anger, the bitterness, and the desire for revenge. Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of anger and resentment. It's about saying, I won't let your actions control my heart or my mind anymore. It's about choosing peace over revenge, freedom over bitterness. It's about walking in your calling without the weight of the past holding you back. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending that what they did was okay. It means releasing the hurt and choosing to heal. It means letting God be the judge, knowing that His justice is perfect and His timing is right. It means trusting that He saw everything, and He will handle it far better than you ever could. When you see them fall, when you see them face the consequences of their actions, pray for them. Not because they deserve it, but because it keeps your heart pure. It keeps your spirit free from bitterness. It shows God that you're ready to be elevated because you've passed the test of humility and forgiveness. And when you pass that test, nothing can stop the blessings that are coming your way. You were humiliated publicly, but you'll be honored publicly. You were mocked and laughed at, but you'll be celebrated and respected. But to receive that honor, you must respond with grace. You must let God handle the justice while you focus on your healing, your purpose, and your destiny. That's how you break the cycle. That's how you rise above. That's how you show the world what it means to be chosen. In moments of pain and humiliation, words have power. The words you speak shape the reality you live in. That's why affirmations are so important. They help you replace the lies you've been told with the truth of who you are. They help you break free from the shame, the hurt, and the fear. They remind you of your worth, your power, and your purpose. Repeat after me: I am chosen, I am loved, I am worthy. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am stronger than my past. I am bigger than my pain. I forgive those who hurt me, not because they deserve it, but because I deserve peace. I release the anger, the bitterness, and the pain. I choose freedom. I am rising above. I am walking into my purpose. I am victorious. Pray this prayer with me. Dear God, thank you for seeing my pain, for hearing my cries, and for comforting my heart. Thank you for reminding me that I am chosen, that I am loved, and that I am worthy. I release the hurt, the anger, and the desire for revenge. I trust that your justice is perfect and that you are working on my behalf. Give me the strength to forgive, the courage to heal, and the faith to keep moving forward. Elevate me above my pain and use my story for your glory. In your mighty name, I pray. Amen. These words aren't just affirmations, they're declarations. They're proclamations of who you are and who you're becoming. Speak them daily. Speak them boldly. Speak them until they become your truth. Because you are chosen, you are victorious, and no amount of humiliation can take that away from you. Your story isn't over. The pain you went through was real, but so is the purpose behind it. You were humiliated, but that humiliation is about to turn into honor. Those who laughed at you are about to watch you rise. Those who mocked you are about to see God's hand on your life. They thought they were breaking you, but they were setting the stage for your elevation. You are chosen, and no amount of humiliation can change that. You were set apart for greatness, and no enemy can stop what God has planned for you. Trust in His justice. Trust in His timing, and trust that He is working all things together for your good. You don't need to fight this battle. God is fighting for you, and victory is already yours. Walk boldly into your destiny. Rise above the humiliation. Live out your calling, because you are chosen and nothing can change that.